What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thursday episode of Clapback Culture. I'm your girl, Jules Jessie. And happy Friday Eve. I'm so glad to be here. Glad to be in the building with you guys. It has been a week, okay? Of course, I couldn't do this show without Rado. Let's go ahead and add him in.
What it
Rado, welcome
do?
to Clapback Culture once again. Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve, guys. I'm glad to be here. Always good, glad to see you guys. Hope everybody is feeling good on this wonderful Thursday. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Make sure if you haven't already to tap into the comments tonight, but share the stream. Let somebody know that clapback culture is on. Okay. We
Yeah,
definitely want to talk about a few things.
we here.
Listen, I'm gonna try to present a few things on here today because I want to share that video of the key bridge collapsing and have a conversation about that absolutely horrendous scene this week with the Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsing. You guys, I know everyone has seen it, but it's just one of those situations where it's just like, how? You know what I'm saying? How did we get here? You know what I mean? So let me see if I can do that. But as I'm doing that, Rodney, I mean, let us know, like, what were your first thoughts after because you woke me up and were like, this just happened. Like, what are your thoughts on the Key Bridge collapsing?
So it's one of those things. So I think we're going through these phenomenons in the world where I don't know if we're shocked anymore. You know, to wake up and to just see that bridge collapse like that and to see the video of it, it was just something that was just out of control. Now you guys know that social media works way faster than the work than the actual news. So I had already seen the video. I had already made phone calls and everything else like that to kind of get people involved. But it's just sad, you know. To see something like that happen. Of course, you know all the conspiracy theories have came in very strongly. People are saying it was a bomb and it exploded and blah 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 blah. But it was just tremendous to see that. And you know, I don't care who you are. If you ride over a bridge, everybody has that like that whole feeling of like, what if this bridge collapsed? You know, when you're a kid, you think the crazy, you think the wildest things. And sure enough, that little kid that turned into an adult was driving on that bridge and witnessed that thing collapse. So, you know, my heart still goes out to everybody that was affected by that because it's a real thing. Like a bridge, really, a main bridge really collapsed. Not no baby little bridge, a real big.
Not a baby bridge, a
Yeah,
real situation.
yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can share this with you guys. I'm gonna add this to the stage. Boom. Oops. Dang. This is new. I'm having some issues with my Chrome for some reason, but
Happens.
let me share this with you guys here. So I'm gonna add this to the stage
Okay.
and let's see if we can play this. There's no audio on this. This is just the video right here, you guys, of the cargo ship. There's no audio on this. What we're gonna notice is that the lights go out on the cargo ship at some point. There's an electrical failure. Boom, right there. And then suddenly we just see the bridge coming to a collapse shortly after that. This is crazy because to me, I'm like, if you see the cars like zooming past, like you're thinking, like, who was that? Like, they literally faced life and death. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Wow.
yep, there it is.
So I had never seen this video.
Oh,
The one that you just showed. This
mhm.
was kind of crazy. So the
Yeah.
boat actually went past, made it through, and then it just collapsed on it.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah,
So
that
it's
was
real. It's definitely real. It's crazy.
yeah.
So I know that they were talking about, right now in the preliminary investigation that it is being deemed an accident.
Yeah.
Um, This has to be an accident. I'm also not a huge conspiracy theorist in situations like this. I don't understand what the conspiracy could be, but listen, you guys, definitely, definitely, definitely. My heart goes out to Baltimore, the construction workers who were on the cargo ship when this happened, and any lives lost in this situation. We do know that there are two survivors, and so I am excited to hear what those stories are going to be. And excited is not really the adjective I want to use, but what I'm saying is it is going to be quite interesting to hear what happened firsthand from some of those survivors. Um, but shout out to the crew who did a Mayday call that I think really saved lives because they stopped the influx of traffic going over that bridge. So
Absolutely.
shout out to them. Ooh, Rodney, I think both of us are like, we're both yawning.
Now, I've been yawning all day. It's something about when I get on air and I'm finally like at the end of my day and I'm ready to just kind of just talk my talk. It's kind of like it just makes me yawn and I just go, ah.
All right, well, let's get it out.
Girl, I should have gave an example of you yawn for real.
Listen, y'all, I had to get it out. It's giving mom, it's giving wife, it's giving,
Yeah, feel it.
communications director, podcaster,
Yeah,
dog owner. I had to chase the dog back into the yard today. It was a lot going on. So,
yeah,
listen, I'm gonna throw a few yawns in there. I see we got some comments, final destination stuff for sure.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
here's my issue with this stuff. How the hell did the bridge come down like a Lego?
yeah, yeah.
We're
That was
talking
different.
about modern day technology, modern day cargo ships, and then this bridge. The way it collapsed lets me know it was not ready for anything because it
Yeah.
just came all the way down. They're talking about this being a year and a half to 2 year project. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Are they gonna put it back and it's gonna be like nothing happened? They're gonna put it back.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what happens in the meantime? Like what does that mean for community
Lawsuits,
for work?
lawsuits. Everybody is going to say that they were on that bridge and they got out, at the at the very last moment, and they all about to get them a little $1 million from the city and the whole boat company and everything like that. And but of course, being as though this cargo, I believe it was coming from China, there is going to be a lot of flack and pushback on the whole war against China and the U.S. and all of this because it was a lot of shipment containers
Yeah.
on the ship.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
So it's coming, y'all. You guys will see it soon.
All right. Well, let's wake it up with a little bit of tea. My good girlfriend in my head, Savannah James, is talking about wanting to do a podcast. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, you guys.
Wow,
So
it's
she
gonna be dope.
she debuted her first show tonight at 7 p.m. Shameless plug. I'm gonna go in and tap into it, but it's called Everybody's Crazy. And it's co-hosted by a young lady named April McDaniel. Instagram is feeling some type of way, you guys. They're feeling some type of way because they're saying this is not the place for Savannah to be, and they don't want her out here in these streets
Really.
in this
I,
blog
I mean,
world.
I disagree. So for me, right? First of
Um,
all, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I have never heard of this. This is
it
my first
just she
time even
just
getting a
dropped
whiff
it.
of it. Okay, so she just came out and dropped everything in 1 second, like Beyonce, huh?
Well, hold on. I want to see if I can play this clip for you guys. Let's see.
Okay. I'm gonna send the next caller through, you guys.
Wait a minute. Don't we have to say something like
We'll do that after. This is just for testing.
Oh, okay, got it.
This is just.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you from? And what's your crazy?
So that's the short clip, you guys. And
I get it now. So this is my thing, right? I do believe that Savannah represents a 1% of women that men idolize because she does portray the essential women or wife, I would say, right? She portrays that, and I do feel like that can be tarnished with this co-host or with the actual topic that's there. So I can kind. I'm just getting this news. Like you're just showing me this news, and I'm kind of my mind is racing right now to say, Savannah, you have been seen as this great mom, someone that has not been in the light, someone that wears her clothes really well, someone that is not looked at upon as a slut or somebody that's fast. You're looked at as LeBron's wife, the perfect role model as far as for a woman. You are second to Michelle Obama.
Mhm.
And you know, we don't want to get who was once a Beyonce because we once idolized the Beyonce until she started talking about riding a surfboard. So it's like I think we're treading on dangerous waters here where we're trying to say, oh no, we want to protect your image, Savannah. But Savannah is like, she want to be outside. And this is every man's worst nightmare, right? To
Every
find
husband,
huh?
every husband's worst nightmare.
Every husband's worst nightmare, yeah. For that wife to come out who was like, doing everything the right way, who was, portraying this great wife role model to wanting to come out here and be like Jodie Davis or one of these Instagram girls. And I don't know, I haven't seen the episode yet, but I'm a little concerned right now because we look at Savannah as the very we don't use pretty, we don't use sexy with her name, we use beautiful
Yeah.
because she's very conservative. She's a very beautiful black woman, and she doesn't. The problem is this: we don't say she speak well because she don't speak at all.
Right.
95% of the world has never seen Savannah even have a conversation.
Which is what social media is talking about, and they're saying we're not social media as a collective is saying we're not certain that we want you to use a podcast to now broadcast your personality. And listen, Savannah, she has raised 3 kids. She along with LeBron they have upholded a very, very, very big standard and reputation. They are, the king and queen in this situation. And she is a very beautiful, coveted black woman who essentially has done everything right because we've never seen her do anything wrong. This podcast, Everybody's Crazy, seems like based on the teaser that they're going to be collecting like incoming calls and talking to the listeners about what's crazy. So I think everyone's sentiments are right when they're saying, listen, Savannah, don't jump out here in these social media streets, girl. It's not given, the grass is greener on the other side. Just keep being a viewer like everybody else. But to some respect, she's done raising her kids. Her kids are much older now. I think LeBron is kind of taking, winding down and things like that. It is time for her to have a little bit of her freedom back. And I think maybe this is an opportunity for her to have an outlet. And I don't want to push her away from this. I mean, I can't do anything. So I'm going to support the pod. I'm going to see how it is. But I think tread softly, Savannah, because guess what? These streets are not the same when you left them.
I don't like it. It's like I was looking at it as like how you just said it, a way for her to kind of like just come out and be herself. But sometimes that's just not her role. Sometimes women or men just don't get that chance. You lived a rich life. You've done a great job. Behind every great man is a great woman. But things that she say can very much tarnish LeBron's legacy. There are a lot of things that could be taken out of context. And what she has to understand is that there are 50 million individuals, personally, that's in the media, that their job is to break down everything that she says, even the way that she says it, and turn it against her and her family.
Yeah.
So we have had this perfect. LeBron has been the first athlete who has been perfect for his entire 20 years in the league. He doesn't have a blemish on his name. LeBron is so clean that they're trying to say that he's dirty because he made a decision to leave Cleveland and go to Miami.
Right.
Like,
they're putting anything.
That's a scandal. So I'm scared of this because, for one, so LeBron is in the limelight. Both of her sons are in the limelight. The only one that we don't really talk about is LeBron's mom and the daughter. And Savannah, I get it, but I don't see what she has to gain from it.
Okay.
It screams to me a woman who's like,
Who
I've
might
been
be bored.
I've been in the shadows for too long.
Mhm.
It screams that to me, and I feel like people need to appreciate their shadows because she's lived in a great shadow. So I'll say that.
I actually really, I'm surprised we actually agree on this. I think we are living in it, and here I am doing a podcast with my man, right? Like, so I am the pot calling the kettle black in this situation, but I feel like
We can't compare to them two though. We just can't.
there's no comparison. I
There's no
think
comparison.
the comparison is like, do do you want to be highly scrutinized by social media? Like, do you want to tarnish the legacy that you have helped to support, right? Because behind every great man is a great woman. And we know Savannah has been riding with LeBron and shooting with him in the gym, literally and figuratively. So we know the hard work. Like, you don't think of LeBron James and then just think of like his wife as like, oh, his wife, like, no, she has upheld a standard for their family.
And she respected Lucy. Like when she come out to the games and when she
Respected.
walk, she like people know who Savannah is on the red carpet. She gets her own pictures taken. I mean, of course, when you are behind. There are not that many great men, right? As far as in popularity and power. We talk about juggernauts. We talk about LeBrons. We talk about Jay-Z's. We talk about Puff Daddies, Dr. Dre's.
I would argue that even before Kobe's passing, you wouldn't have known his wife. Like Savannah James.
There's kind of a difference. Well, I guess you could say that you wouldn't have known, but Savannah kind of steps out. It's like goals, black woman goals.
Right.
She steps out in that way.
Because Kobe's wife isn't black.
She wasn't upheld like that. Like when people see Savannah, they're screaming like, "Go black girl, go!" So it's giving black girl magic, and she has upheld herself to a certain kind of standard, which she is really second to Michelle Obama. Like I really mean that when I say that. Michelle Obama is her own standard. She has.
How do we feel? Okay, let's say Michelle Obama wanted to jump out here and do a podcast.
Michelle Obama did an interview about 6 months ago on the couch that was raw and unfiltered, and she did it with several different women. I forgot what show it was on. Right. And that was the first time we've heard her say a cuss word. It was the first time we've heard her talk about her marriage and how things were not perfect between her and Barack.
She was promoting her book, right?
And we didn't like it. I mean,
really? You didn't like it? I think people loved it.
Not really. It was a way to come out as transparent, but it was. I'll say it like this: it was a one-timer. I feel like you can get away with one-timers versus an ongoing thing, right?
Okay.
So she came out and kind of talked about she was actually mentoring women who were young. In my opinion, she came on as a mentor. She came on to teach women from her experiences. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but it just is what it is. She came on the couch to have an open discussion and teach women about marriage, about how to be strong and how to uphold your man and all those different things. This is totally different.
Yeah,
this is like a woman coming on and kind of be ratchet and be a part of the La La gang and the Kim. Like it's like she want to show like, hey guys, I'm one of the girls too.
Right.
I'm not really feeling that. Yeah. Because what she don't know is that all those girls are looking at Savannah. The Kim Kardashians, the Lala's, the Lori Harveys, they have been looking at you, girl, and you don't even know it. They don't tell you, but they're following you.
Yeah. I think I'm really shocked and surprised that we are agreeing on this. Like
she throwing a swimsuit, I'm not doing podcasts no more. If she throwing a swimsuit, I'm going to hibernation, y'all. Because it's given, if she's looking for that kind of attention and throws on that swimsuit, or she do anything than that 3/4 quarter length shirt, I'm gonna have an issue. I ain't seen you in no tank top, Savannah, and don't put no tank top on. You are the most Christian Muslim. You are the most Christian Muslim I've ever seen.
She's modest. Listen, I'm actually I'm shocked that we're agreeing on this because a part of me does feel like, well, go ahead, sis, jump out there and into the group chat. But
it's enough of them though, Lulu. It's enough of them already doing that.
Yeah, like Savannah, you don't need that. Like you're
So
good.
let me ask you this, Lulu. Let me ask you this. Give me another example, excluding Michelle Obama, where we have another Savannah to look at.
I can't even name one. And honestly, I wouldn't even put Beyonce in that category. And
No, she rides surfboards. No, Beyonce, after Lemonade, her surfboard is over.
I would say, and I say that I can't put Beyonce in that category because she's an entertainer on her own. Savannah is a wife. Michelle Obama is a wife. So I'm really looking at women who are wives who have powerful husbands, and they are the second to their husband. That's who I'm comparing it to. And Beyonce, she and Jay-Z are almost one in the same. But also it's just not comparable. But I can't think of anybody who matches up to.
And that's what I'm saying.
Savannah.
And that's why we need it, because why, Savannah, you're a young Oprah and you don't even know it. Like we have to have a space where we can still have someone for women to look up to.
Yeah.
If you look at the Black Chinas, if you look at the I'm not gonna say Lori Harvey, but if you look at what's the girl? What's the guy? The guy with the blind eye. What's his girl name? She was a influential Instagram model as well.
Masika?
Not Mystica, the other baby mother.
Oh, Alexis Sky.
So Alexis Sky. What's the short hair girl from Philly that used to mess with Kanye? Amber Rose. So all of them, obviously, when they got through there, what we call hoe phase, all of them did what? They went back to being conservative. They went back to looking upon being someone that you can see as worthy. And the way that they did that was by stop revealing themselves. They changed their language. They changed what we deem hot girl or slutty ways. And obviously they were able to look at the role models like a Oprah or a Michelle Obama or a Savannah.
Yeah.
So, it's like I want a space like that. I'm scared. See, my thing is this. If it was just Savannah, I would have been like, okay. But when I see that friend is going to always turn her friend out. It's going to always turn a girl out. And that energy.
We're going to see. Listen, you guys, we're going to see what happens. The show aired tonight. Rodney and I are going to tap in after the fact
after this show
to see what happened. But Savannah, listen, don't come outside, girl. It ain't popping.
Ain't nothing going on out here.
Not a thing.
What's your billionaire? You got half of that. You ain't signed no prenup. You've been really shooting the gym. Everybody else, they just came in 5 years on the back end when they men was already in the league.
Okay, I want to talk about this next topic, which is about Nickelodeon exploding. Yes. And of course, we're going to save majority of the show to talk about Diddy, you guys. So it has been an explosive last 2 weeks, to include Nickelodeon and Surviving Diddy. We're going to talk Nickelodeon first. Nickelodeon, there was a documentary that dropped called Quiet on Set. And I'm sure, we were talking last night about, what's your cartoon? I was a Nickelodeon kid. So to think about the toxic work environment, the pedophiles that were on this set, grooming these kids, et cetera, this is like some crazy stuff, you guys. So I want to share a video if I can. Let me try to share my video. But Rodney, have you heard about this?
I heard all about it. I'm disgusted. So obviously we've heard about these things, right? Mostly in Catholic churches with popes and things of that nature. But it just shows that so many of our child stars go through things. And I've listened to numerous interviews this week. And basically what those interviews said were young child stars who basically said that once they became millionaires, they put their parents on staff. Mm-hmm. And what happened was they relinquished the whole authority from their parents. From child to parent. I mean, from parent to child to child to parent. And what they were saying was they had this rule, and the rule was you could not be on set with your child, but what you could do was see your child through the monitor. And they were just saying, I guess that just like it wasn't the same. And there was a lot of molding. There was a lot of things done on the set and behind scenes that parents missed. and a lot of the child stars were really like ran off scene and really stopped acting. There are several TV stars that just didn't make it because they were resistant to the things that was happening in Hollywood.
Boom. Okay, so I got the screen share going, you guys. Let's see if I can play this and see if we can get some audio.
Yeah, it was definitely just a crazy thing.
Give
Um,
me a second. Give me a second.
The scandal surrounding former Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider, who was behind popular shows like The Amanda Show, iCarly, Drake and Josh, Victorious, and more. In a new docuseries, Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV, Schneider is accused of inappropriate and abusive behavior against people on set, including child actors and female writers. Now he has responded to those accusations in an interview with actor Boogie, who was on iCarly. The TV producer spoke about Brian Peck, a dialogue coach who went to prison on 2 counts of child sex abuse. Schneider said he was not responsible for hiring Peck, who sexually abused actor Drake Bell, who worked on The Amanda Show and Drake and Josh. Schneider said he was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. A Nickelodeon spokesperson told CBS News in a statement that it can't corroborate or negate allegations from productions decades ago. And in the interview, Schneider said he is embarrassed and regrets his behavior, adding he owes people a pretty strong apology. He also addressed some of the other allegations highlighted in the docuseries, including sexually suggestive jokes that he included in some of the shows, saying he's in favor of cutting them out now if they're upsetting to viewers. 2 female writers on The Amanda Show alleged they had to split a salary in order to get hired, something Schneider said he had no control over. He apologized for treating people poorly and admitted that he should not have asked people to give him massages on set. Former Zoe 101 actor Alexa Nichols slammed Schneider's interview in a new YouTube video, saying she feels no remorse from the producer and would have preferred a private apology. I know everyone deals with their own emotions in their own way, but I don't feel anything from you, Dan, Nicholas said.
Well, there's that.
Massages on set is crazy.
And the fact that Dan Schneider came out and did a 20-minute interview on social media and was just like, "Oh yeah, like I'm really sorry for how I made everybody feel. Like I shouldn't have asked people for that." But this just goes to show you there's a number of things that happen.
Man.
Dan Schneider is one of the producers and creatives from Nickelodeon back in the day. This is came after the wave of like our age group, right? Because this came when Amanda Bynes got her own show and there was a show Drake and Josh. By that point, we were kind of older and had moved on from Nickelodeon because our wave was really like all that Keenan and Kel, kind of like that whole Nickelodeon era. So Keenan Thompson came out in an interview yesterday on the Tamara Hall show and said that it's really sad because this wasn't his experience and he's not taking away anything. And he's just like, I made some really great memories on that set, but this wasn't the environment that I remember. And so it's disgusting that Dan Schneider was doing, like, admittedly did a lot of like wild things. And not only that, Nickelodeon had employed a number of convicted child predators.
That's the part I was going to touch on. Like, why were there several individuals with felony sexual abuse records being hired?
Imagine. And so the dialogue coach
you gave them a buffet.
If you remember Drake from Drake and Josh, you remember how big that show was.
Mm-hmm.
Drake Bell was groomed, and according to him in the documentary Quiet on Set, which again, that's going to be another thing I binge watched this weekend, you guys. He does not go into details about the sexual assault. However, what he says is, think about the worst things you can do to sexually assault and victimize somebody, and then you'll know what happened to me. And so he obviously was destroyed by this grown man. And He was his dialogue coach. His dad was was his manager back in the day. He ended up telling his mom what happened. His mother went to the police, and press charge and kind of got the ball rolling. Dan Schneider is saying, "Listen, that's the worst thing that ever happened to me." Blah blah blah. And all the things that I did, knowing that Drake was hurt in this situation, but
Did Dan do this, or was the child predator the sex offender?
it was a child predator. His last name is Peck, Peck. So we'll see that in the documentary. But Dan Schneider is saying, I didn't hire him. But guess what? People knew what was going on.
Yeah.
People knew what was going on. And I always wondered what happened to the Drake and Josh show, because it just got snatched off air one day. So this is it's difficult, because you think about these kids and you're just like, dang, they're being groomed, or they're coming up in an environment where even when they don't feel comfortable doing something, they're being hit with the, okay, well, if you don't want to do this, we got like 500 other kids that are willing to jump in here and do it. So we got to protect these kids at all costs.
Yeah, no, we really do. We really do. And obviously, this whole Nickelodeon company has done a poor job in doing this. Shame on you, Nickelodeon. Shame on you, parents. This has a lot to do with the parents. There's two different kinds of parents. There's parents that's negligent, which these parents were, and there's parents that's on top of it. Money changes everything, and I hate that, because when kids become this valuable, parents will turn a blind eye to shit that's happening. And I don't care what you want to say. For all the parents that's watching this, you can feel when your child come in and your child off. There's a natural aura, that a natural spirit that you have when your child, and you know if they're really smiling, if there's pain behind that smile, if something is going on. There should have been questions. You should have been around to check on this child. And I know sometimes we miss it, but this is not an isolated case, which is why I'm saying shame on you, parents. There are several different cases, and children, they have to be released by, all children have to be released by someone, right? When you're dealing with these kind of companies. And what is seeming like is that parents have just released these children and just went along their day, came home and waited for that check to hit their account. I'm kind of tired of it. I don't know the name of the young black guy, or the little black kid I sent you that always would have the braids, but he just left Nickelodeon and became an adult. And I don't know what it is about this Nickelodeon curse, but every child star looks the same. It's like they keep the same face but just kind of grow abnormally or something. It's funny to me.
Something going on over there.
Yeah, something's going on over there. But there has been several different child stars that have been traumatized and basically said, you know what, I'm no longer going to act. I'm no longer going to do X, Y, and Z, just due to the fact of them being sexually abused. So, it's crazy, man. You guys allowing a convicted sex offender to work with kids is just crazy.
And Nickelodeon basically came out with a statement like, we're going to investigate this, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. But Nickelodeon, you need to be held accountable, because how are you hiring convicted sexual predators? Like one guy who worked on the set, after he left, well, he had served like 16 months in prison, got hired on the Nickelodeon set, and then reoffended after he left by being caught making out with a 9-year-old girl.
Wow.
So anyway, it's called Quiet on Set, you guys. I'm binge watching this weekend. If you're a Nickelodeon kid and you are interested in this kind of stuff, you should pull up and watch it.
Yes, please.
All right, so Surviving Diddy. It's time to wake it up in here. Let's wake it up. Let's wake it up. I mean, you've been teasing this for weeks now.
I've been teasing this for weeks, and I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this turn of events. I expected. So this is the thing, right? I don't really know if Diddy is guilty of anything. Let's just start there, because it's almost like a person that could be involved with people that are so negative and into so much stuff, and that doesn't make you guilty, but it definitely doesn't make you innocent. So we do know we call Diddy a freaky shooter. Okay. Someone
Definitely a big freaky shooter.
someone who's overly sexual in all different ways, and we get that. But it seems like a shit show at this point, and it seems that the media is making this thing more than what it is, and I hope they can make an arrest or something at this point and just kind of like tell us what's really going on, because they came to his house, had his kids and everybody else in cuffs. That allowed the media to come in and do this. They're telling us about these secret tunnels. They are
I have
now
a video.
okay. Well, let's get into the video and break it down because it's so much to go into this, y'all. But it's this is crazy. So this is Diddy's house being raided, guys. The house in LA, I believe.
There was a lot of reaction to the simultaneous raids on homes in Florida and California linked to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. At the same time the raids were taking place, Combs was spotted pacing at an airport. But where was he going? Here's Jim Murray.
I'm outside the hip-hop mogul's estate in the exclusive Holmby Hills section of Los Angeles. This is where federal agents conducted the surprise raid, which is reportedly tied to an ongoing investigation involving allegations of sexual assault and sex trafficking.
Here is where you wanna be.
Combs' ex, the singer Cassie, sued him last November for sexual assault. The civil suit was settled in just one day. He denies all allegations of wrongdoing. When you saw the size of these multiple raids, what did that tell you about the potential for charges being filed soon and an arrest impending?
Based on the size of the raid, I expect charges in a matter of days. This may be the beginning of the end for Diddy.
Today, we spotted private security at the estate with handguns.
All right, they just made their way in.
As the LA raid unfolded, two of Combs' sons were handcuffed and detained, routine in a raid like this. They were released without charges. As the feds swooped down on the LA mansion, a simultaneous raid took place at his waterfront estate on Star Island in Miami. Agents were seen loading a van with boxes.
Yeah, again, man, it's so much coming out of this, y'all. So the first day they talked about the raid, they are basically saying that they are looking for tapes, sexual tapes, that can basically verify him being involved in sexual trafficking. Sexual trafficking is basically AKA pimping when you're dealing with sex and you're dealing with minors. That's what they call it, sexual human trafficking. I'm not sure what's going on here yet, but obviously in the document also put in 50s G Unit's 50s Son's mom, and also Young Miami,
Daphne Joy.
Daphne Joy and Young Miami.
I probably could share that with you guys too, because 50.
It's-
Well, I can't, but 50 did post about that, and I just saw it.
Yep, and so did Daphne. She came back, and we'll talk about that too. So it alleges that Young Miami and also Daphne was sex workers, and also that Young Miami was bringing him back pink cocaine.
That they were on the payroll.
Yeah, that they were on payroll as sex workers, and that they also were using some kind of pink cocaine or something like that. So it's so much inside of this case. Do I believe that Diddy is a drug lord of some sort? I don't.
No.
Do I believe that he's involved with human trafficking? I don't. Do I believe that he has these elaborate parties that are just insane and cocaine, drugs, fighting, sex, transactions, and everything that's going on in these parties? Yes, I do. Because it's his party. Obviously, he's been doing this for decades. He's the one getting in trouble for these things, so I understand. But it's egregious. And I will say this, right? I'm gonna look at this a different way, and we're gonna talk more about this. We still got 20 minutes, but I want to say this. Slim Thug, who is a rapper from Texas, came in and he kind of changed my whole perspective on understanding how we are as Black people. And his first thing was that Black people, look alive. You guys are being fooled again. Okay, now let's not say that I'm agreeing that I don't see what's happening and that I'm ignorant of anything that's happening. But let's be really honest. We have watched we have watched the entire media and us be a part of turning Kanye down.
Right.
One of our maybe 6 billionaires, right? Black billionaires. We've seen the media turn him down with no charges, and we were with that. We assisted with this.
Right.
Then we come in our second billionaire, right? Remember, we only have about 8 to 10 billionaires that are black, white, or male. So now we're here clapping and cheering on them, bringing down P. Diddy, because now we're saying that he is someone who womanizes women and all this blah, 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 right? But let's make sure we have that same energy when it comes to Nickelodeon. Let's
Yeah.
have that same energy when it comes to Adidas. Let's have the same energy when it comes to every white and Arabic billionaire that does this on a regular basis. Then I'm not trying to say who's right or who's wrong, but at some point, where are we going to come out here and protect our black men, our black billionaires? Because we don't have many.
Right.
It's not something that just comes along. So my thing is, we will have people accountable, but black people, let's make sure that Diddy is guilty of something. Because last time I checked, Young Thug is getting charged with lyrics. He's getting charged with things he said in his music, and his case won't be over. They won't even be finished talking to witnesses until 2027. So let's remember what happens with black people, because we're nationally lynched, and we're nationally
accountable when our white counterparts are not.
White counterparts are not, and nobody holds them accountable, because guess what? White people don't treat their own like this. So we're going to talk more about this, but I was one of those people that I was just jumping out there, and I was like, you know what? This guy crazy, and I thought it was a game, and I was laughing. And Slim Thug humbled me, because I had to look up and say, damn, what are we laughing at? We laughing at his sons and his daughters being locked up in the front yard and treated like criminals, when the FBI is doing an investigation and they already know that his kids have nothing to do with this. So you basically put his kids in cuffs to traumatize them. You put his kids in cuffs so that they can be put on the news, so that you can have authority over them. That's a tactic that y'all not even looking at, right? Then you go into his other houses. We're looking for what? We're doing this because he's a super freak. We know Diddy ain't killed nobody. We know he's not no cartel. We know this, black people, but are we going to act like we don't know this? Because we're definitely not sending this man to jail for doing anything. And we definitely not believing this Cassie bullshit. I'm sorry, this Cassie BS, because she got her money. She never came for any criminal charges. She came because he forced her to have sex with other men, and she was with it until she wasn't with it.
And guess what? She's not with it right now, because there's so much scrutiny over here. It's hard to be with some stuff when your business is out here in the streets for everybody to know and judge. Diddy did break his silence and submitted a statement through his lawyer, basically denying all wrongdoing after federal agents raided his homes in both LA and Miami, in connection to those federal sex trafficking investigation. Here's the thing. The lawyer is saying that called the raids a gross overuse of military level force for which there was no excuse, and insisted he is innocent. There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. Here's the thing. People are innocent until they're proven guilty. And one thing we know about the feds, between me and you, they will create a case. They're going to go in without having anything. But I agree that this was clearly a big production. It didn't need all that. I do understand that when the feds raid, they typically put everybody in handcuffs in this situation, but sometimes they don't.
No, they don't. Oh, no, they don't.
So, but sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. In a situation I've been in a situation where they did and where they didn't. They don't have to. They know that they're not coming.
They know who they're coming for.
Right. They know who they're coming for. I think that Diddy is smart enough to have protected his assets this whole time. We do know that he has sold all his final shares of Revolt. He is no longer the owner of brands like Diageo, the face of Ciroc, and things of that nature. So Diddy has taken down everything and really has lost a lot behind this. And I'm all for people doing what they want to do sexually, so long as it's consented. A lot of people get in the presence of Diddy, in the presence of powerful men, in the presence of powerful people, and they do things that they would not normally do, and then they cry wolf. I think
true.
I think there is some things that could be substantiated, but I think that everybody needs to take accountability for being an adult and saying, were you coerced, or did you want to be a part of this lifestyle and this is what you chose? Yeah. So if we're agreeing that Diddy is clearly a freaky shooter and he's into cocaine and he's into public sex and things of that nature, and you know that about him, pull yourself out of that environment. And I think it also goes to show you, here's the thing. Is he a drug mule? Is he like this drug trafficker? No. Does he like to smoke coke, snort coke? Probably so. You know what I'm saying? Does he like to have sex with underage girls? I don't know. But this is the thing. There are also underage girls probably
posing as adults. That's these parties. His parties is the most lit parties. And obviously, because we talk about sex and we talk about powerful men on this show all the time. I don't care who you are. Men, we don't go into a room and say, hey, can we see your ID, please?
And women, and guess what? And women are not presenting their ID.
Exactly.
No one's having a conversation to say, are you underage? Are you overage? No one's having that conversation. If you make it into a Diddy party, the assumption is that you're grown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
sad because
fast kids in order. That's number one. And number two, I just think the demise of Diddy is actually a really sad thing to watch. I didn't listen to what's his name? The rapper you had mentioned.
Slim Thug.
I didn't listen to Slim Thug, but I did see the video, and I think I do share the sentiments in that we're in a day and age where we are quick to be like, ooh, and judge people. And we don't know what happened. None of us were there. There's a few complaints that are out there. They did a big raid and they did a performative raid. But at the same time, we both understand that a lot of these things don't be as egregious as people are making it out to be.
I'm here, and this is the sad part. I'm seeing all these celebrities come out one by one, trying to diminish the Diddy legacy and talking about how they knew he was with this man and he was with this man. And I'm like, it's consensual.
Right. So here's the thing.
He did not rape any of these people. So if for whatever reason he has sexual encounters with males, that's just what it is. And at some point, are we gay bashing now? Are we gay bashing, or are we just allowing Diddy to be Diddy? Because obviously Diddy has reached a peak in his life where he's just this character where we just accept him for who he is. Now, this is how the feds work, right? And remember, you're hearing it here live first, guys. The feds come with a weak case like this. Remember, I'm saying this because I know what I'm talking about. I don't say things unless I know. So I'm going to tell you guys what's about to happen in the future, right? You guys could call me a telepath. But what's going to happen is that in the next 7 days, and remember I said this, I'm telling you this live, the feds are going to snatch up Young Miami, and they're going to put so much pressure on her, and some of that pressure is going to involve them threatening to take her daughter away, right? Because that's what they do with mothers. They're going to put so much pressure on Young Miami that she is going to falsify and give up information in which she should have never gave up. Because she was P. Diddy's concubine and someone who was closer to him, she knows those secrets that Cassie knew. And she was a willing participant in whatever was going on. And I'm not trying to say that's legal or illegal, but she is going to be the one to help build the case. The
Mm.
closest woman and closest man are the only people that the feds can use. So listen to me, and I'm telling you this now. Young Miami is going to turn into Cassie. She's going to turn into somebody who could gain. Because remember, she gained her fame with Diddy.
Yep.
Now she's going to denounce Diddy. She's
Yep.
going to say that Diddy forced her, and she's going to play victim.
Yep.
You heard it here first. The feds are masterminds in turning friends into foes.
Yep.
Trust and believe it. So we have this whole situation in which she was so in love, she was showing Diddy off. It didn't matter if Diddy had extra kids or what. That was what? Her poppy. Watch who Diddy is now. All
Yeah.
of those people that supported all these powerful men, when they fall and the feds is involved, they know what to do. Trust and
And
believe.
every other celebrity is gonna fall in that list to be like, oh
Yes.
no. You're gonna see so
Yes.
many people start distancing
Justin
themselves.
Bieber, Usher.
All of them, but you were the
Yeah.
same ones at the parties. You were the same ones celebrating him. You were the same ones giving him awards. You were the same ones doing everything with him. And so, because this is the thing, it's not his behavior was not a secret.
Yeah, his behavior not no secret.
But now that he's being reprimanded for his behavior, all of a sudden people want to be like, oh no, that wasn't me. But we are the company we keep. So if it was cool, if him doing coke and sleeping with girls in front of you was cool while you were there, why is it all of a sudden not cool?
It ain't.
So that's what we got to do. I mean, that's the end of our show. I mean, it's one of those situations where we have to hold everybody accountable. I'm interested to see what charges are going to stick. I think sex trafficking
too, because what the sex trafficking thing, I'm trying to figure out.
Trafficking is such a salacious charge,
but
can mean nothing.
But look though, so this is how sex trafficking work. The word human trafficking comes in with for individuals underage. Sexual trafficking is AKA pimping. That's all it is a pimp child. Now, the government cannot charge a person with sexual trafficking unless the alleged person is testifying. So now we have to see what Cassie is going to come into this. Because if you have women that come in and say that you forcefully made them have sex with other people and that you paid them, then you will be guilty of sexual trafficking. So now this is where those NDAs won't matter anymore.
Yes, you're right. So the U.S. Department of State has highlighted sex trafficking as an act. The act's element of sex trafficking is met when a trafficker recruits, harbors, transports, provides, obtains, patronizes, or solicits another person to engage in commercial sex. Right there. What we do know is that in the complaint, it identified as Daphne Joy, Young Miami, and several other girls and guys as commercial sex workers, as women and men that were being paid to have sex. The means, according to the definition, is the means element of sex trafficking occurs when a trafficker uses force, fraud, or coercion. Coercion in the case of sex trafficking includes a broad array of means included in the forced labor definition. These can include threats of serious harm, psychological harm, reputational harm, threats to others, and debt manipulation. That is so broad.
It's so broad, but all of those things only come into play when somebody gets upset and goes to authorities and say, I was forced. All of those things, so all those things can happen and be legal. Because you could pay a person for all those things. You could pay a person for their time, Jules. You can also pay a person as a gift, right? You see a lot of those people had those tricks before marijuana was legal. People will give a gift so that they can be able to provide marijuana.
So here is an eighth of marijuana in exchange for
$10 donation of 2 steps. So you get it. It is the same way, but what happens is when someone comes in and say, "Ho, I don't like this," or "I didn't sign up for this," or "You embarrass me," or "I'm blackmailing you," or "Now I'm embarrassed." This is when now they get on the side with the feds, and that's why now we're now seeing that Cassie came out and said all these egregious things, right, which brought it to the light, and now all of a sudden you have this indictment. These things don't happen like this. We didn't know where Cassie came from out of thin air, right? She just came one day and said, "I want a lawsuit." Everybody was bamboozled because he hasn't been with Cassie for over 3 years. So we're like, "Cassie, you guys don't even speak. Why are you come? You're married with a child in the family. Why are you coming back asking for money?" So now she come back, and then 2 months later, his house get raided, and we're talking about sexual trafficking, the same thing that she alleged to the world.
And it's crazy too, because if we just look at Young Miami, right, and we're gonna keep bringing up, well, I'll keep bringing up Carisha because she is a certified city girl, made the term, and she said the only reason she is with guys is so that they can pay like they weigh.
Yeah.
So she is saying, "Yeah, I'll have sex with you all day long, and I will, engage in this relationship, if you will, or this situationship, so long as my needs are met." And a part of that is it's an exchange. It's saying, "I'm young, I'm beautiful, and I'm good with sex, and I will give you all of those things should you be able to provide me a lifestyle that I want to maintain." I think Daphne Joy is the same kind of woman, saying, "Listen, if you can keep me and uphold these standards financially for me, I will continue to engage in sex." That's based on the definition. That's what they are charging him with. So he's in a mutual consented relationship with women, saying, "In exchange for your power and your money, I will give you sex."
Yeah, Miami's done. She is going to be a key witness to everything. Trust and believe, because the Daphnes and the other people don't know all of this about Diddy. Diddy has pillow shared with her. He's been in the bed with her. He has shared things with
Trusted her.
He
Yeah.
trusted her. And let me tell you something. Young Miami, aka Carisha, is not JT. JT don't have kids. JT was able to do that bed. Carisha has 2 kids. She's not going to jail.
And she's not going to leave this fame that she built. Guess what? Because it's all on him anyway. Period. Like, she's moving on.
Yeah, she's not doing that.
She's gonna have people in her ear saying, "Girl, forget him. He's going under anyway." So
the same way the world is. We black people, we always turn our backs on black people, don't we?
we'll see. So we will, yeah, we do. And guess what? We will see how this turns out. Listen, neither Rodney and I are taking a side on this, but we are taking a position of, like, we want to see the truth. So I'm interested in the truth only. And I want to see what happens.
And also, y'all, let's not get bent out of shape, because needless to say, let's just say Diddy is guilty of something. Whatever he's guilty of doesn't carry more than a year. And I know the charges do, so to speak, right? But trust and believe, everything he has done within his own stable. Stable. So I'll leave that with saying, Carisha, please.
Carisha, please. That's funny as hell. All right, Rado, when you're not here in Clapback Culture, where can they find you?
Well, I'm not here on Clapback Culture, y'all. Y'all can catch me on all platforms at Rado007. That's RODDOE007. And that's at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and always Gmail.
All right, you guys. I'm Jules Jessie. Of course, your hostess with the mostest. When I'm not here on Clapback, you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Treasure of JULES. You know what it is. Make sure you come back, follow me, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you want to talk about next week. And until then, listen, have a great weekend. Easter Sunday coming up, you guys. Let's send one up for the Lord, and continue to be peaceful. Until then, we'll see you next week.